2.9 kilometre swim course for the more than 1,300 competitors. It starts on Auckland's North Shore at beautiful Bayswater Marina. It's pretty much a straight swim for the competitors. Big orange state markers spaced 450 metres apart. There's a light southwesterly, water temperature's 18 degrees, and this year it's an extra 100 metres, with the competitors finishing and exiting the water at the new Koranga Plaza in Auckland's Viaduct. It's a truly iconic swim, and the crowds are expected to be out in numbers. And our more than 1,300 swimmers about to make their way into the water to get ready for a start in race one of the State New Zealand OceanSwim Series for 2011-2012. 5 waves going approximately a minute to 2 minutes apart this morning from Bayswater Marina, and we are underway in the elite field. Our seeded caps today are a dark green, and they are seeded 1 through 10, featuring Kane Radford, the number 1 seed, and Trent Grimsey, this man on shot with the no-sleeve wetsuit. Joining me in commentary, former swimming representative Scott Rice.
A fantastic moment for these swimmers. 5 start groups, as you said, Mark. About 200 to 300 swimmers starting in each group. So hopefully, with the 100-metre wide start line, a little bit of room to move in that first few 100 metres.
Well, somewhat surprised that Trent Grimsey's decided to swim to the left-hand side of the course that's closest to Bayswater Marina. Kane Radford out to his right, out of shot at the moment. And speaking to Kane Radford before this race, Scott, he was concerned last year with the line he took. He said he went too left. But I just wonder this year whether he's gone too far right.
Well, he learned a lot of lessons last year. It is a lot about navigation. Now, obviously, no black line to follow on the bottom of the ocean, so you do have to be knowing where you're going, heading for the marker buoys, which are large, and really be looking up every 5 to 6 strokes.
Nice shot of Matthew Stanley, the 200-metre freestyle champion, and now a member of Swimming New Zealand's high-performance squad, third equal at last year's event.
Well, look at the start by Trent Grimsey. He is renowned for a fast start. But these Aussies don't wear wetsuits a lot in Australia, obviously very warm waters. So he wants to have the flexibility still in his shoulders.
And our first look at our leading female competitor. This is your defending champion, Cara Baker, based on Australia's Gold Coast. She'll have her work cut out today because this is a very good women's field, and expect the challenge to come from Charlotte Webby wearing the number 2 cap and the 400-metre freestyle New Zealand record holder in Lauren Boyle.
Here's a nice look at Jared Port. Looks like he's actually lost his cap. The 17-year-old out of Australia. He's been the age group champion over 3 years for the 1,500 metres freestyle. He swims 15-12, 1,500 free, doing very, very well there. Number 5, Stephen Kent, just on his toes. Won the State King of the Bays a couple of years ago, so a very talented surf life-saving swimmer.
And interested to see Grimsey there just roll over onto the back. Obviously just trying to get a feel for where the other competitors are, but often just a little bit of backstroke can just open up the chest, just relax the shoulders.
He's really gunning it here, Mark. He's really trying to get in. Let's have a look at him. In 23 out of Brisbane, Australia, the 3-time Australian champion. So a force to be reckoned with today. He was second to Radford 3 years ago. He'll want to get one up on him today.
And his younger brother, Cody Grimsey, a former winner of this event. So certainly the Grimsey name, when it comes to open water swimming in Australia, are a name that people do not want to underestimate. But now Kane Radford, I think he's realised his mistake, wearing the number 1 cap, looking to try and bridge that gap across to Grimsey. Look at the arm turnover from Radford. It's like he's swimming 200 metres. We expect to see this in the last 100 metres of a race, not this early, Scott.
Well, Radford doesn't like to start typically in second place, and that's where he is at the moment. Here's another look at Jared Port, the youngster out of Australia, going very, very strongly.
I understand he has a personal best over 1,500 metres at 15 minutes and 10 seconds. That is remarkable. What's that about? Just over 1 minute per 100.
It is remarkable, especially for a gentleman of his age. Here's Stephen Kent. Stephen Kent alongside Matthew Stanley. Matthew Stanley, the 200-metre freestyle New Zealand champion. A very, very fast swimmer, swimming I think 1:48 for the 200 metres freestyle, but very different out here in the Auckland Harbour, right in the middle.
The race starts at 9 o'clock and the tide is coming in, so the swimmer's been pushed towards the harbour bridge. Round about 10 to 10, it won't affect our elite swimmers. The tide does turn. So these are factors they need to build into their training. These are factors they need to be thinking about if they are to get themselves on the podium today.
Well, these elite swimmers, the incoming tide at the moment, a little bit of a gentle southwesterly breeze, so a bit of wind against tide at the moment, making this chop a little bit tough for some of these pool swimmers. The key to that is the higher, slower turnover in the recovery. You want to raise those hands up, get them over the chop, but especially important that underneath, the pull through.
And so Trent Grimsey doing a very good job at the moment, always halfway across the beautiful Waitemata Harbour. And he's got a wee gap on the chase group. Jared Port there, the other Australian, with the sleeveless wetsuit, surrounded by a cluster of New Zealand's leading pool swimmers who are now looking to maybe just change things up a little bit, get themselves out of the pool and enjoy this wonderful experience, this great event.
Oh, so Kane Radford, he'll be a little bit worried at the moment. Grimsey has got a good 25-metre lead on the field, and here's a good look at Cara Baker. She has lost her bright blue cap and the white cap now. This is Cara Baker, last year's champion in this event and New Zealand's fastest female open water swimmer. She's gunning for an Olympic berth next year in London, and she is alongside Graham O'Grady, the talented triathlete from Hamilton.
And Graham O'Grady, a wonderful talent. He comes from a pure triathlon background. He's got a wonderful natural feel of the water. He's one of the best swimmers in the sport of triathlon. He is the current New Zealand half Ironman champion. And I tell you what he might lack in terms of pure technique in the pool, he makes up with heart. But look at this. This is the wonderful challenge coming from Charlotte Webby. What a rivalry these two have got going on. Don't underestimate this girl. They breed them tough in Taranaki.
So in the blue cap is Charlotte Webby, number 2. In the white cap, Cara Baker. And look at the flurry of arms there amongst our elite athletes. We've got in the green caps the elite men, and in the blue caps the elite women. So coming through a few of the moored boats out of the Bayswater Marina, now well on their way towards the Viaduct Harbour in Auckland Central. And these swimmers now, this is the important point, they need to stay on course. They need to be looking out for those large orange state markers to keep the best line through to the viaduct.
It's an interesting point, isn't it, Scott? Because sometimes when you're swimming in these groups, you're relying on somebody else to do the navigation, but that is still ultimately your responsibility. As we look now at our race leader, Cara Baker, just 21 years of age, originally out of Dunedin, now living in the Gold Coast. She is desperate to try and qualify for the London Olympic Games in the 10K open water in 2012.
Confident she can get there, Mark. She leads the State Harbour Crossing 2011.
So much more to the sport of open water swimming than just simply doing laps in a swimming pool. The equipment has become so important these days. And of course the swim cap, particularly if you've got long hair, you can keep it nice and tucked underneath the cap. And as Cara mentioned, that just allows you to go a little bit faster through the water. And ultimately, let's be honest, it is all about speed. The wetsuits, how much technology these days. The rubber's incredibly flexible. The elite swimmers, they don't tend to like them as much because they find them a little bit more restricting. But for the general swimmer, they're great. They alleviate a lot of deficiencies that you can have in your stroke. And after all, swimming is very much about good technique.
Well, here is a good shot of Charlotte Webby in the number 2 blue cap alongside Kurt Bassett, a former 200-metre backstroke national champion. And he's out here for the second time. He was there last year with a good performance. And we take a look now. So a good 5-metre lead. Cara Baker leads over Charlotte Webby at the moment. She'll be wanting to hold on to that, increasing her stroke rate. She's swimming alongside Stefan Talbot, a swim mate from Howick Pakuranga Swimming Club.
Stephen Talbot, 18 years of age, out of St Kennigan's College, big future. He purely sees himself as an open water swimmer long term, and they're very good friends. In fact, when Cara is over here in New Zealand, he stays with the Talbot family. So nice to see these great friends now becoming great rivals out on the water.
Well, it is good to be swimming alongside a partner, and quite often you will find someone that is swimming at the same sort of speed, the same sort of tempo. And, it sometimes helps. You a bit of drafting on the feet, sometimes pull up, get a bit of a rest. So nice work between Stefan Talbot, Cara Baker.
A great rival, Charlotte Webby, is still there. We caught up with her earlier in the day.
Just out there to see how it goes, see how the currents pull us, and take it from there. With open water, anyone can have its day, so you've just got to make sure you're on your toes, go as hard as you can, and hopefully the finish line comes soon.
And Charlotte Webby, a very smart swimmer. She's on her toes, but she's also on the toes of Cara Baker, now just moving up alongside of her. Possibly just sending a wee message there to Cara Baker saying, here I come. Oh, this is wonderful stuff, Scott.
Well, they have had some epic battles over the years. Charlotte Webby taking out the State OceanSwim title last year in horrible conditions at the State King of the Bays. Terrible, very windy conditions, surf-like conditions. She took out Cara Baker to win the series. And today she's really putting the acid on Baker now.
And I just wonder whether she's just putting a surge on deliberately here, trying to just test Baker, find out what sort of form she's in. Has Cara Baker gone out too quickly? Stephen Talbot just finds himself getting run over by these wonderful female competitors. But as we head towards the front end of the field, Radford has closed the gap. He's moving alongside of Grimsey. What a swim from Radford. He was so far behind through the first third of this race, but the class of Radford, the belief, is now starting to come through.
So Radford in the number 1 cap with the sleeved wetsuit. Grimsey from Australia in the sleeveless wetsuit. It looks like Grimsey's tiring. Radford has changed gears. He is absolutely blowing Grimsey away in this section of the race. Can he hold up this pace, Mark?
Well, the best thing he can do here is let Kane Radford go past. Try and just stay there on the hip. At worst, stay on the feet. Look to save about 10 to 15% energy and then bring the heart rate down a little bit and try and mow him down over the last 200 metres. But he wants this. He's looking to go toe-to-toe. He wants to make this a street fight.
And here's a look at Radford, 21 years of age out of Rotorua. He's won this event 3 times and also the 2011 Australian 5K champion. And also a bonus, San Francisco this year, winning $10,000 US at the winner takes all Tiburon Mile.
And Trent Grimsey doing a very good job here, now beautifully positioned on the hip of Radford, but Kane Radford decides to turn it up another notch. He doesn't want him living there, he doesn't want him sitting on that hip. Grimsey is now forced to drop back onto the feet of Radford. Can Radford just open that gap, let the bungee cord just stretch a little bit and hopefully snap him?
Well, looks like Radford's got another half body length out of Grimsey here as they approach 3/4 of the way across the Auckland Harbour. Beautiful scenes of the Auckland Harbour Bridge in the background, and that's what makes this event special and so iconic. Once a year, where 1,300 swimmers have the privilege of swimming across Auckland Harbour.
And Scott, a new finish line this year in Auckland's Viaduct Harbour, which is going to require a little bit of concentration from these swimmers because it's a little bit of a dog leg.
Absolutely. They used to last year and for the last 3 years swim directly into the viaduct and straight out of the water to Werro Island. This time a dog leg hanging to the right, then left, then immediately right after the new drawbridge into Karanga Plaza, the beautiful set of concrete stairs out of the water. Looking forward to seeing these swimmers and all of the swimmers approach that finish very shortly.
As we see the Sky Tower, our swimmers have well and truly now entered Auckland's Viaduct Harbour, and Kane Radford has gapped Grimsey. This is what we were expecting. This is a considerable lead, you'd have to say. Unless he gets it wrong from a navigational point of view, Kane Radford's going to be very tough to beat.
10 metres on Grimsey at the moment. Can Radford hold on? Just metres to go, looking out for the drawbridge. That is the second to last state marker you can see on screen now. One more marker to go. Immediate right into that stairs mark.
Well, last year he wasn't happy with his navigation. He ended up finishing 5th, a disappointing swim for him. This year he's done a lot of work working on the mental side, saying to himself, I need to believe that I'm good enough, that I can swim with the best guys in the world. He's showing that today. This is wonderful. Under this final little drawbridge, this large crowd will welcome him in, and Kane Radford, the young man who grew up in Rotorua, will take out his 4th State Harbour crossing. What a class act.
And look at the crowd on the drawbridge. Look at the crowd here in central Auckland's Wynyard Quarter. The beautiful new finish line as Radford approaches the stairs. Just getting to his feet now, moves his way up the stairs. He's got this win. He is happy.
And Kane Radford wins in a time of 35 minutes and 16 seconds. And Trent Grimsey from Australia, who really took it to him, once again will have to settle for second place in a time of 35 minutes and 23 seconds.
Oh, these class swimmers. A bit of a hug, a bit of a shake of the hand, good sportsmanship. And here's a race for 3rd place, Mark. This is young Jared Port from Australia and Stephen Kent, the surf lifesaving champion. Who's going to make it? Kent gets there in 3rd place. Well done to the Kiwi, Kent, over the young Aussie.
Yeah, a great swim from Jared Port, but I think a bit of local knowledge and the fact that Stephen Kent comes from a surf life-saving background was probably the difference. But this is the group of those men vying for 4th, 5th and 6th. But also in there is Cara Baker, our leading female. She looks like she does have the lead in this women's race. Where is Charlotte Webby amongst the washing machine effect that is open water swimming? Cara Baker, she won this race in 2010, and she looks like she's going to go back-to-back and reinforce her reputation as very much the queen of open water swimming. She will get to her feet this final little run-up as we see Stephen Talbot cross the finish line. But ladies and gentlemen, she lives on the Gold Coast. She has Olympic aspirations, and she is your champion. Well done, Cara Baker.
And look, you can see in the foreground Charlotte Webby just getting out of the water there. So just 5 seconds behind is Charlotte Webby. What a race amongst our elite ladies.
Kane Radford, not a great start today, but you pulled it back. What a wonderful swim to beat Grimsey.
Yeah, you know, after that start, I was thinking yet again it's going to happen all over again, same as last year, but just had to dig deep and slowly make my way up the field, and then when I finally caught up to Trent, it just was all on from there, and it ended up being great. Trent's a great swimmer, to be able to get up on him is always good.
Was it just a simple case of going back to that and saying, I do believe in myself?
Yeah, you know, it definitely was. I had to really find something extra when I was behind. I think I used to be just throw away the race, so it was great to be able to know that I could hold in there and work through it and end up coming out on top.
Where did you make your move?
You know, I felt as though I was making my move the whole way through because I had to come through so much, and then I guess I drafted off Trent for a little bit, and I just thought I've got to go here. You know, it's time to make the move, and it just went from there.
4 titles here.
Yeah, it's definitely great. You know, it's a great race. First one in the series. It's always great to get up on this one. It's such an iconic race in New Zealand.
Cara Baker, another close finish, another great rivalry with Charlotte Webby, but you managed to get in amongst a group of guys. Take us through the race.
Yeah, at the start it was pretty choppy, and the boys were obviously, you know, just smashing out, trying to get in front of us. So, yeah, it was a hard race, but it was good to kind of finally get back in here and get back in the motion of open water swimming, ready for Taupo.
How important was it being in that group, or did that make it tougher tactically because you just didn't have an idea where Charlotte was?
Well, I know she was behind me and a group behind me, and I was just fighting it out with another guy, I'm not sure who it was, but yeah, and they obviously caught out to us, and we're in a big, massive bunch, which is quite good because obviously, you know, everyone's so disorientated of where you are. So, yeah, that was good.
And good luck to both Kane and Cara with their Olympic aspirations. Confirming the men's results, Kane Radford, his 4th title in the State Harbour Crossing, a time of 35 minutes and 16 seconds. The Australian Grimsey will have to settle for second for the second time in his career. The very impressive Stephen Kent narrowly getting ahead of Jared Port.
An equally impressive performance by Cara Baker, defending her title from the previous year in 38.30, followed by Charlotte Webby, just 5 seconds behind from Taranaki and Lauren Boyle in third.